And now for part 2 of The Unexplained, The Hock.
Listen, every time he veers off, I'm just going to stop, and I'm going to stay on the trail and wait till he veers back correctly, and then I'll continue to follow him. But every time he goes off trail, I'm just going to stop.
And I'll stop by Jack because I trust Jack.
Yeah, Carla's watching everything happen, and she's kind of going to favor the Jack's route.
Yeah, and I'll stop as well because I look like Conan on the Wheel of Pain while I'm slogging through the woods with my backpack on. I have like a Victorian-era English adventurer's outfit on with big pockets and those flared-out pants like I'm going to be riding a horse.
You have a pith helmet, don't you?
I do have a pith helmet, but I'm wearing a broad-brimmed hat because it goes with the ascot and my walking stick, which looks like a Lord of the Rings replica.
And do they all look brand new and never been used before?
Well, everything but the hat, the ascot, and the adventurer's outfit, because I wore that last time we were in the woods, and it still smells a little like a burning Johnny Parkour.
Yes.
It's tough to get out of your clothes.
No matter how many times I've washed it.
I suggest Dawn.
I was wondering where that smell was coming from.
Yes, that's my friend Johnny, unfortunately. I got most of it out, but it is still rather...
You don't have to sniff it again, though, okay?
Yes.
After you let Kris go off and then you stop and then he comes back, he finally sort of gives up and lets you lead without saying anything. He just sort of starts taking your lead.
Then I will take the front and I will begin heading out and follow the tracks.
So yeah, all right. So you're traveling along. First day's journey is pretty uneventful. You hear birds, you see and hear small critters. It's all pretty standard New England woodland critters, nothing out of the ordinary. Eventually you're getting towards later in the day when you can see that the sun is heading down into the west, and the shadows are starting to stretch between the trees. You also realize that you're smelling the approaching swamp, and that standard, very recognizable swampy smell. It's starting to get to a point where you think you're going to be getting to wet areas soon, and after dark might not be the best time to encounter that. You guys have been traveling pretty much all day.
I'll look for a high spot away from water, hopefully with a few trees, and that way we can set up our tents and set up a fire ring. I'm going to look for a nice area to camp in, or at least a decent area to camp in before we get into the swamp proper.
Okay, yeah, it's not hard to find such a place, and to be honest, it's there are hills and stuff. There are the occasional big rock that was left by a glacier a long time ago, stuff like that. But yeah, you can find yourself a bit of a rise that has a couple trees on it, and you can make your camp.
Okay, I'll start setting it up. So I'll lay down a couple stones, for the base of it I'll make a nice safe fire, so we're not gonna have to worry about chasing a wildfire behind us, and get my hammock set up. And if anyone asks, I will point out an area for them. But in most cases, I'll just let them go about their own business because it's fun to watch.
Okay, so you do that. You've got yourselves a camp and you settle in. Is there anything anyone wants to do?
Yes. I am going to place down a pukwudgie habitat. I've managed to secure a couple display tents, those miniature ones that they put on top of the shelves at Walmart.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to pitch an extremely small tent. I'm going to knock the little like stakes in with a ridiculously small hammer that makes a tick, 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 tick noise that grates on your very soul. And I'm going to pitch that pukwudgie habitat, unzip it so the pukwudgie can get in if he needs to, and throw a granola bar and some dried apples in there.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to very clumsily try to climb into my hammock, falling down a few times as I do so.
And
I'm going to set up some night vision cameras around the tent. Try to get all four corners of our area, pointing outwards. At each corner, I'll try to have them at a diagonal. I'll just try to get as much of the center and then much to the center of the other side, and do that with all four sides. I'll put them up on the tripods.
all right, sounds good.
Jeffrey's tent, as he sets it up, has a clear top to it. It's giving very homemade vibes, but he needs to be able to see the sky at any point during the night. So he's makeshifted his tent so that he can do that. And he takes a selfie with it before the dusk sets, so that way he can post it to his UFO blog.
Awesome.
While Scott's setting up all his equipment, I'll stand uncomfortably close behind him.
I told you, you don't need to be so close.
What if you need my assistance?
Well, for that, since you're eating, I'm going to just reach over, take his bag of chips, and I'm going to pour some into my hand.
Help yourself. Like right in his ear.
And I cringe, and I hold everything I have just not to hit him.
I'm just going to walk by as I'm collecting firewood and just kind of, and that's what it's like to have a little brother. And just head off into the woods collecting wood.
That way, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, right.
Sound pretty bad, to be honest. I'm going to set up my tent, by the way.
I'll set up mine, too, after I get my cameras all set up.
All right. So you got your cameras up, pointing outward at angles, 4 of them, so surrounding the camp.
Yep.
You've got a fire. You've got your tents all set up. Jeffrey has his unobstructed view of the sky. More or less unobstructed. Just there are trees, but you can find an open. Enough of an opening to get a good view. You kind of settle in for the night. Is there anything anyone wants to specifically do as this evening after dark?
The only thing I would probably do is make sure my phone is connected to the cameras wirelessly. So if something comes in range, I have it just make an obnoxious alarm sound.
Okay. Obnoxious alarm sounds that are good to have.
Carla's
All
going
right.
to make sure that her pistol is underneath her pillow while she's sleeping.
I'm look for my shirt because apparently once we got to camp, it disappeared.
Okay.
And after being all sweaty and whatnot, I glisten a little bit in the firelight, but
I wouldn't call it glisten. I call it like you look a little bit swampy. Moist.
oh yes, I am moist.
Not in a good way.
Huh.
You just make sure you stay in your hammock and stay away from my tent.
Oh my darling! The only reason I'd go near your tent is if you called out in distress.
It would never happen.
Well, yeah, you are an independent woman. You can see that right away.
Okay.
I'm just glaring
right.
at you.
I'm still looking for my shirt.
Yeah.
Well, not really.
I'm going to take this opportunity to conduct some wood knockings
Oh,
by striking my Louisville Slugger against the nearest, stoutest tree. And then I'll pause to listen for a response.
Well, I'm going to have to dig out my phone because I recorded a response and we used it last time we were out and he did this. So I'm going to head off and get some wood and then semi-quietly just walk off behind a thick grove of trees and wait till he knocks again.
okay. All right.
And then turn the volume up on my phone a little bit and cup my hand over it so it sounds like it's a little ways away and wait for the call.
All right. Sounds good. So you do another whack at the tree?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll play the wood knocking back and then
And And
Everybody's silent.
Carla's like snickering inside my tent so he can't see.
I'm going to respond to the Sasquatch's call. And then I'll listen intently.
Okay, change sound file to Sasquatch response.
I believe that's a female Sasquatch.
Crappy speaker on the phone.
Carla's
Yeah,
having
right.
a hard time containing herself.
And then I'll make my way back to camp and leave him frustrated when he gets no more calls.
I'll write it down in my journal.
yeah, and you don't get any calls, any responses other than what you heard.
Clearly, I was too fierce in my response. Scared the female Sasquatch away.
Okay, so
I want to know what Jeffrey's doing during this.
Oh, my head is like in the clear part of the tent, just peeking out, so you just see my head wide-eyed. Every noise it's made.
okay.
Come back to camp with an armload of wood. Hey, did anyone hear anything out there?
Yes.
I think there's an animal or something roaming around out there. That's okay. If it gets close to camp, I'll shoot it.
No, of course not. You mustn't.
Drop the wood. Start breaking it over my
It's the
knee.
call of a female Sasquatch that you heard.
Oh. Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Well, won't that be an extra special day for you?
Well, wouldn't be the first time. Of course.
Of course not. Of course not.
I'm stifling my laugh so you know that I'm not laughing, that I thought what you just did was brilliant. Because I don't want you to know. But it was brilliant. Hiding my laughter so well.
Set a pot of coffee on the fire. Break out an MRE. Set it in the heat pack. Pour a little water in there. Start warming up my food, my dinner.
Coffee at night?
There's no bad time for coffee.
Don't you want to sleep?
I sleep just fine.
There's a hardwiring issue right there. Just keep that in mind.
If you say so, darling. Finish my
Okay.
3,200 calorie MRE and half a pot of coffee and
I'm going to make my raviolis. You know, like
Okay.
when you shake it into the pot. With the splat.
The worst. sound.
Toss by the fire.
Blech.
I'll offer Scott some when they're done.
He'll gladly take some. Gotta eat
All
sometime.
right. Let me see.
so aside from dinner, I don't think anyone's doing anything special.
All right, so that sounds good. That sounds good. So as you're all just kind of hanging out, doing your thing, you can hear you crickets and the all the standard nighttime noises.
I'm going to go over and pick up my bow. Just set it in my lap like I'm doing routine maintenance. I'm going to wax down the string, pull a couple of the arrows out, just lay them down, and pull a small stone out and just brush it across the broadhead tips a couple times.
I was certain you were cricket hunting for a second. I was like, cool. I'm in.
Cricket hunter.
It's always important to make sure your equipment is in good working order. You never know when you might suddenly need it.
Yep.
That's a good point. Did you know crickets are a government experiment gone wrong? They're not even real.
Well, for an experiment gone wrong, they taste really good when you skewer them and put them on a fire.
I eat
there you
crickets
go.
too.
And with that, Scott will put in his earbuds and listen to Ghost Hunters USA podcast.
I am going to very gingerly, which means like a swirl of chaos, climb out of my hammock and slink over to Scott. And I'm going to lean over him while he's got his eyes closed, tap him on the chest so that when he opens his eyes, the first thing he sees is my face looming over his.
Pull out my earbud. What?
We need the FLIR.
The
The FLIR.
the FLIR?
Yes, the thermal imaging camera.
Okay. Why do we need it now?
I saw a mist swirling about. Inside the mist was a man with a feather in his head. It's either a Native American spirit or a Pukwudgie, or a very small Sasquatch.
I'll get the FLIR. Let's go. Where did you see this?
And I'll take him over to that area where I saw that form kind of take shape.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing that you decided to make camp when you did, because you're not all that far from the shore of the swamp. You can see that there's actually a shore, and there's water with cattails sticking up and all of that. Dead trees sticking out of the water at odd angles, and that all that kind of stuff. And Alexander, you see this mist, and there's some kind of form there. But as you get near it, and you're not picking anything up specifically on the FLIR, and as you get closer, it sort of just kind of fades away and vanishes. And Scott, you didn't see anything. You're not sure what he's looking at.
There's nothing out here.
I saw. That was a spirit taking form.
I take his bag of chips and I throw it into the pond.
Are you mad?
It lands on the water. Little ripples go out. It's just kind of floating there.
Go to sleep. You need sleep, or else you see things. Oh my God. And I turn around and I'll walk away.
I knew what I saw.
But there's nothing there.
You mustn't throw away my snacks. I have low blood sugar. You'll find me dead in this woods.
We know that's not going to happen. Jack will save you again.
I shared my ravioli with you.
We need some rest, or else you start to see things that ain't there.
I know what I saw.
What did you see?
I saw a Native American man take shape within the mist. He was wearing hides and furs and the whatnot.
And I was with you, right? Did I see anything?
I don't know. Did you?
No.
You weren't paying close enough attention. I know what I saw.
Sometimes I wonder about
You should be more excited about this. Spirits everywhere. We're going to catch so many on camera.
We will. That's what the cameras I have. We got stuff set up for that.
Oh, no, I'm too excited. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep.
As they're going about their business over by the edge of the swamp, I'm going to pull out my little LED flashlight. And just as I'm getting up and stretching, and then I'm just going to flash it in the area where I thought I seen something looking back at me and see if I catch movement quickly.
You think you do see movement, but it's hard to say because when you shine the light, you see a lot of shadows move around from because of the trees and brush and stuff like that.
Well, I'm aware of that's going to happen, but I mean, if something's backing up or moving perpendicular to the light, there's going to be, even though I don't see a form, there's going to be a very definite shadow moving in the background. So even if I don't see the exact form, I will see something moving if it's going to quarter and move back away, unless it's moving directly behind, directly away. And no animal ever does that. They always quarter. They always go off on an angle.
Okay, make a perception test.
Ooh, that's +3. Perception. Perception, that's a good. So that's going to be a heroic.
Ooh. Okay, so what you see is really what you don't see. You don't see any animal heading off at an angle. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What you do see is where you thought you saw something was right beside a tree, and now you just sort of see that tree.
Okay.
Carla was just taking a break in her tent, leaning down, and all of a sudden, I hear like a growl coming from the left side of my tent. So I'm gonna get out of my tent and bring my flashlight with me, and I'm gonna shine it into the forest where I thought I heard the growl.
Well, you'll probably see Jack shine. I don't know if he's going to shine in the same area, but he's shining his flashlight. He's got 1200 lume military issue flashlight. I'm daylight, and he's probably pointing in a different direction.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
pointing in
guessing.
a different direction.
Direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're kind of off in two different directions.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
see yellow eyes, Jack. Do you see eyes? I see eyes looking back at me.
I did see a pair of eyes.
That sounded like a cat. But there are
Why?
no big cats around here.
Different animals sound like different things. I mean, a fox yelping sounds like a crying baby.
Right, but there's nothing that sounds like a growl that's coming from a large cat.
Lots of things growl. Whether it sounds like a cat or not, I couldn't tell. I didn't hear it. I just know I seen eyes.
I think the rustling that we're hearing, I think the noise is
I mean,
a cat.
we're new to the area. A lot of the animals were on their path. It's normal for them to come and check things out. So you shine a flashlight. More often than not, that scares them away, and after a while, they stop coming. Fairly commonplace in the woods.
Should we make a loud sound to scare them away?
Not necessary. Usually the light's more than enough.
Well, Carla's going to take her flashlight and just to make sure she scares away the cat if there is one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, wiggling lights. Yeah, that's really effective. Okay, perfect. You're right on it.
Works for me.
And yeah, you don't seem to see it now. So whatever it is must have gotten scared away.
That's fine. I'll turn my flashlight off, and I'm gonna mount that to the counterweight on my compound bow, so I have that to use when I need it. And then I'll sit there and put, I hear Alexander and Scott often over by the area over there still conversing, so I'm just gonna sit down and put my back to a tree and maybe, there's my shirt. Drape my shirt over my shoulders. And it's on the wood pile. Who'd have thought? And go about throwing some wood into the fire and leave my bow rested across my lap and just kind of settle in like I'm going to sit there for a little while.
Is there anything anyone else is going to do that night?
Nope.
I will sleep.
I think so.
Okay. All right.
I will do one more thing before you go. I'm going to check on Jeffrey.
Okay.
Jeffrey, you haven't left your tent. Are you okay in there?
He pops his head out through the clear opening. Yeah, I can see everything from here.
Did you have something to eat this evening?
Oh, I brought jerky. 3 different kinds.
Oh, excellent. Make sure you mix some fruit with that.
Oh, dried fruit. I have that too. Thanks for the reminder.
Dried or not, fruit would still work. And make sure you drink plenty of water.
Yeah, I'll make sure I purified it too at home. It's my own purifying system because you can't trust what Brita makes because Brita's part of the government.
Do you have an ozonator?
Oh, I don't know what that is. Do I have that? Do I
Oh,
need
an
that?
ozonator. Oh, it runs ozone gas through it and kills off a lot of. Not only does it kill off bacteria and whatnot, but it kills off several toxins and any chemicals. Helps neutralize them.
I need one. How do I get one? Do we have one here?
We don't have one here, but they're really easy to make.
Jack, can you not be a bad influence, please?
Oh, the
I'm sorry,
chemicals
but
are in my lungs now.
this is a very serious question.
I'm gonna write it down. I'll make sure I get it next time. I'm gonna make sure all my blog visitors know about that too.
You should,
all
it
2 of
it
them.
is imperative to purify water by an ozonator is one of the easiest ways. Simple to make and does large quantities as well.
Okay, I'm gonna use that. I've been using charcoal and then some rocks that I found in my backyard, and then I run my feet across it to make sure that it gets everything out of it. And then it mostly comes out pretty clear.
Make sure you put a layer of sand in there too.
Oh, sand. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, but that doesn't stop Staphylococcus or Listeria, buddy. 2 of the most dangerous pathogens. You might
Yeah,
want
that's
to
what I
look
got my
into that.
toesies for.
Yeah. You might want to look into something like chlorine. But hey, just go with the ozonator. You'll love it. Trust me. Look it up when you get home. You're gonna love it. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm
I'll
just checking
look it
on you,
up.
buddy. Just checking on you. I just want to make sure you're okay.
I appreciate it. And then his head just pops back down away from the
All right.
clear area.
Yeah,
It's
walk
got-
away. Great. I'm working with a like a prairie dog here. He just pops his head up once in a while. Oh no! Just. Yes. Okay, no problem. Okay. I'm gonna go
All
back
right.
to my little sitting spot, and I'm done for the night.
Thank God.
My job to make sure everyone's okay.
So the night goes by, nothing else happens, and morning comes. The fire's nothing but embers. Everything is pretty much as you had left it.
I am going to go over to the tree that I thought I'd seen something at the evening before, and I'm going to search. I didn't want to do it at night because it'll trample the area, but I'm going to see if there is actually any footprints or broken branches or anything that would show that there was a larger presence there.
Make a survival.
Okay, that is going to be a good.
Good. There's signs that something had been there at some point, but it's hard to say what it really was, and it doesn't look like it was all that big. So it might not. It might be a red herring.
Yeah, something off tree. It may have been something that was hanging off the back of the tree, which is why the eyes were so high up. So that's possible. So all right, fair enough. Just want to verify.
In the morning, I'll be retrieving the cameras, pulling the cards from them, putting new cards in, and swapping out batteries for next night's use.
Okay.
And I'm going to check my pugwudgie habitat to see if anybody moved in, and that way I can utilize the pugwudgie. I could bring it into servitude, as the legends say.
I'm gonna walk over and watch Alexander do this little thing with his habitat because I can find it quite
Okay.
interesting.
So what you find is that something did come to the habitat and kind of messed around with it, kind of tore it apart. You can see tracks in the dirt around it. You can see
Tiny
bits
humanoid
of hair.
feet, perhaps?
No humanoid feet, but you do see what might be a raccoon.
Which he might actually interpret as humanoid.
Oh, there is that. Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen pugwudgie feet?
No. Nor have I seen raccoon feet up close. So. Certainly a pugwudgie came.
Alexander, we saw, Jack and I saw eyes in the forest. I'm sure it was just a wild animal.
A Sasquatch is considered a wild animal, my dear Carla. And I did get a response from a female Sasquatch. I fear I may have
You did. Oh, that's right.
scared
I
it
don't want
away with the ferocity of my Sasquatch
You
call.
definitely scared it away. However, the simple explanation for this damage to your habitat would be a wild animal that's a proven wild animal. There's no proof of your Pajawada thingies.
It's a pugwudgie. Pugwudgie.
Pajawadas.
Yes, but, several centuries worth of witnesses. Certainly.
Only witnesses, but no proof?
I will have you know that there were stories about a race of giant apes that lived in the jungles of the Congo, and they were believed to be falsehoods until the billy ape was discovered by Westerners.
The what?
The billy ape. Lion-killing chimpanzees, man-sized creatures. Ferocious.
Probably, are you talking about like skeletons found of Neanderthals from back in the day?
No, actual living specimens. We just have yet to find a Sasquatch or a pugwudgie alive. Sooner or later, it's going to happen.
Okay, Alexander. I'm going to turn, and I'm just going to walk away and let him have his moment.
And I'm going to follow her and go from anywhere from thunderbirds to thylacines
Scott,
to cannibals living
will you
in
reel
the-
in your pet? He's on his soapbox again.
Well, kind of,
Another
look
thing.
at look at the coelacanth. That was
Scott.
supposedly extinct, and then they found him.
Yeah, one frickin' fish.
What if
Okay, reel in your pet.
a relic population of surviving Neanderthals was found in state parks?
What if?
That's where all these.
Yeah, they're
We
called
do-
frat boys.
Wait. What if we forget about the Sasquatches for a minute and look for the people that are missing that we're actually here for?
I don't see them around here right now.
Because we're supposed to look for them.
Well, we're going to. First, we must have a good breakfast.
Alexander, put your tent away.
Of course.
And I'll start packing up my tent before I get yelled at.
Carla already packed up her tent.
Yeah, same. Jeffrey was doing all this while everyone else was going off and doing things.
And I'll have a breakfast of cold coffee and a Pop-Tart. I'll hand Scott the other one in the package.
He'll take it. He's just in just as bad health, just about.
From my evidence gathering, it seems like you have an awfully large intake of carbohydrates.
Yes.
Maybe you should
He has low
throw
blood
some
sugar.
I do.
protein.
Thank you, Scott. I do. It's a condition.
There's other things that you can use to give your blood sugar.
Like a doctor to take care of the tapeworm?
Yeah, basically. I wasn't going to go to tapeworm.
Are you trying to seduce me, Carla?
Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite.
Never on a research mission.
Okay,
I
Jack.
must remain extremely focused on the matter at hand.
I'm going to walk away.
And
I'm walking away. I'm going to start looking. We had paths where those footprints were going, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to start. I think we should follow some of these footprints. Why don't we start following some footprints?
Throw my backpack on, grab my bow,
Yes, of course.
Productive.
and walk over to where the trail ended and wait for everyone to form up. I'm sure
Right.
Kris will be around momentarily.
Oh yeah, he's.
Oh, yeah.
he's
Oh, yeah. I forgot he was here.
Totally forgot he was with us.
Yeah, that happens to him a lot.
He didn't do much. The march, the first day's march, kind of wasted him. He was like sitting there rubbing his legs and kind of, moaning throughout the evening while you guys were having your hijinks, and then he just kind of went to bed early, and so now he's up. He stretches. He puts his stuff away. He cracks open an energy drink and chows down one of those power bar things. And
How you doing, Kris? You still a little? Are you a little sore? You okay?
yeah, a little sore, but
I tell you what, I'm going to pull out my hydro flask, pop that bad boy open. Here, take a swig out of this.
oh god. Okay, he takes the swig.
That's Jameson's Irish
okay,
whiskey.
Yeah, he coughs and splutters and chokes and
There you go,
and-
boy. Take the flask, close it up, pat him on the back a couple times. That'll loosen you up, and then I'll head off on the trail and walk away from him. Leave him there choking and sputtering.
okay. And so what you find is the trail kind of heads over to where the shore to the water was, but then kind of follows along beside it for a ways. It's big stagnant water with random dead lifeless trees sticking out of the water here and there. It's got cattails in abundance. You see occasionally there's a little ripple where maybe a fish caught a bug that was on the water, that was on the surface. That kind of thing. There's a Dorito package adrift in the water, and it looks like there might not be any Doritos left in it, but the wrapper's still there. That's what you got. And so you're following it along, and you can sort of see that there is land on the other side here and there. It gets wider at some point, and then it starts to get a little bit narrower. You think there's like like kind of an outcropping of ground on the other side that's making it kind of narrow. It's just not a uniform thing. But eventually, you can see where the people you're following had stopped and had inflated boats, and you can see where they were dragged to the water and all of that.
Okay. Then I'll pull the rucksack off that's attached to my backpack, pull out the 3 inflatable kayaks, grab the inflator. So it runs off of 4D batteries, and just plug one in there and turn it on and start inflating the first one. When it's done, I'll just systematically go through all of them and inflate all the inflatable kayaks. I will advise everyone to not crash into dead trees. There's a Kevlar lining on the bottom of these things to avoid scratches and punctures. But if you run into something really hard, they will pop and you will swim. Each one will hold 2 people.
Before we head off, though, do you have any of that tape so we can mark where we've taken off so we can find
Yes,
our way
reach in his
back?
pocket and pull out about 15-foot roll. Just pull off like 3 feet and tie it to a tree.
Pulling off 3 feet, tied it to a tree.
Oh my.
What?
We're going to go in the water.
We are.
No, we're going to go on the water.
Maybe we should fetch your litter first. I only assume that's where the Dorito bag came from.
That wasn't me. That was Scott. That's bad for the environment.
That was your Dorito bag.
You took it from my hands.
Litterer.
And threw it. Cast it.
It's a $500 fine.
More importantly, the water. Going to be going into the water.
On the water.
On the water. Does not matter.
It will if you're in the water.
Oh, that doesn't make me feel very good.
I'm sure you can swim.
Every mammal learns to doggy paddle once they're
Alex
born.
has a fear of water.
It's
Yeah,
not
wait
so
till you're
much-
downwind from them. You'll know that right away.
Great.
That's not helping Jack.
Myriad of stenches from your snacks.
So, Carla, you want to be a kayak mate?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
You're my best option right now.
So
Carla looks around all of them
All
before
I
she
heard
says
is,
yes. She's like,
I'm the best one here.
no, don't let that go to your head.
Well, that's
now.
what I heard. You
not
can
what
say
I
anything you
said.
want, but that's what I heard.
So how many kayaks did you
3.
in 3?
Yep.
Okay. And so the 2 of you in one, and then 2 of you will be buddying up in another, and then one person goes alone.
Well, we have
It's not
Chris.
a go
Probably
alone,
with more
but-
gear.
We still have Chris with us, so that would leave 6.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we have Chris. So no one.
Why am I the only one who remembers Chris? Oh, that's right, because it's my job to make sure everyone comes back alive. Okay, no problem. I got it.
I'm so glad you're here.
I know Chris is. We'd leave him in the freaking woods.
Very glad you're here. I would have been on the other side while you guys are. You know,
Quietly whimpering next to the glow tape, going, I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
No, I'll ride with Chris then. That's fine. Unless you two don't want to ride together. How are you feeling today?
Alexander's a little shaky, I think.
I'll be fine, of course. I'll be fine. Of course. I'll be fine.
I guess I'm riding with him. Jesus Christ.
Your paddles are inside your boats.
I'll take care of the paddling.
That's good. I have weak shoulders.
We're gonna be a little slower than you guys, but I think it's
I've always thought that.
oh boy.
I figured with you teach me how to
You
these
have
kayaks.
you have
Yes.
kayaked with me before. You know how to use a kayak.
He doesn't.
I am putting Alexander under your charge, sir.
I'm enjoying all of this.
His life is in your hands while we're on the water.
As he's saying
hey,
this, I'm crawling into the kayak.
But I had his hands and knees. It's rocking back and forth.
Stabilize it. Stabilize it.
I'll reach over and I'll hold it so he can get in.
Jeffrey, have you kayaked before?
Yeah, probably.
He says confidently.
Yeah, we'll get across. I've been on water before. I've been in water before, so I'm not worried if I fall in.
Well, you just have to be careful of the fallen trees and the snags. They could hook your foot and hold you under. So just be careful. Don't thrash around too much. If you do go in the water, remain calm. I could feel Alexander's eyes as dinner plates staring at me as I'm addressing Jeffrey. Yeah, just don't thrash around, because it draws attention to other things in the water. I'm sure there's nothing really large, aside from the water moccasins, the occasional timber rattlesnake. But we don't have to worry about caiman or alligators or anything like that. Fortunately, we're up in New England. I mean, really. They have been known to release a few boa constrictors through here. But they only get about 12 feet long, so there's no big deal there. All right, so yeah, you should be fine. Just don't thrash around a lot, okay? Because you don't want to get your foot caught on like a snag or something like that, make things difficult, all right? So aside from that, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Please. What? Stop. Look at him. And I point to Alexander.
Oh.
Alexander, you'll be fine. You're with Scott.
He finally is not talking
Do
for
you
once.
have your dry bag with you?
Yes, of course.
Can I use it?
Okay, here you go. I'll hand a dry bag
I
to him.
take it and I put my equipment as much as I could fit in there because I'm riding with Alexander.
Yes, don't wear your backpacks. They get laid down on the floor in front of you.
Yes.
You don't want to be top heavy.
That'll make you fall over.
And I'm
All
gonna
right.
I'm gonna break out my DEET and rub myself. And we're in a swamp. I'm gonna rub myself down. Of course, I'm gonna have to take my shirt off to do this. I'm gonna rub some DEET all over my legs and pull my shorts up and make sure I get my thighs and
If you
my
get your
neck.
sweaty bodice on me, I'm going to have a fit.
I don't wear a bodice.
Gonna make uncomfortable eye contact with
Carla's
Carla
eye
while
is
you.
twitching.
Yes.
My eye is twitching. Because I'm upset about your answer.
And I'll hand you the DEET. Would you like some of this, dear?
Yes. Spray myself down and
gonna
then
burn.
throw it back at
It's
him.
not a spray, sweetheart. It's a cream. You need to rub it on.
Okay.
If there's anywhere you can't reach, just let me know.
I'm good. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah.
I mean, you are my kayak mate,
Can you
so
go back to rowing while I do this, though?
Oh, no problem. Being the more experienced, I'll have to be in the back, and so I can steer from back here.
Yeah.
Carla's going
And-
to turn around
and-
to face Jack.
It's tough to row that way, sweetheart.
I'm not rowing.
Oh, all right. So let her.
Just sitting there.
Yeah. Well, how else is she going to enjoy all of this? I mean,
Okay.
I have no problem. So off we go.
So off we go. So everybody gets in and starts canoeing. Kris points in the direction of the closer part of the shore, which is still a ways off, and that's where we should make for. And you get heading, and so those of you who have any, let me see, survival, can make a roll. You can make a survival roll. If you don't have survival, then you can make agility. And I would think that everyone would have to make this roll.
I rolled a great with my survival.
So if you don't, yeah, if for survival all you've got is just the standard 4, then I would say roll your agility instead.
I got a good.
Okay, good,
You got fair on agility.
fair. Okay,
Wow.
They're fudge dice. And
Alexander.
you still,
No.
still
Alexander
roll
just got
zeros.
fudged.
Still roll all negatives, even though they're
I
fudge
got-
dice.
I got a pour.
you go 4. Okay,
Yeah.
I got a fair.
and you got a fair. Okay, so the person who desperately needed to make up for the poor got a fair. All right, so I will roll for Kris. He rolled fair, and you rolled good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So you guys are going across, and you definitely had to slow down. You're able to do okay, and you're able to make it across to the other side without much trouble. However, Jack and Carla, they just kind of, they pass you like very quickly, and they just make for the other shore like bosses, and they get there. They're waiting for you when you get there. The third boat, however, at one point, Jeff, you almost capsized. And the reason was because of the huge amount of splashing coming from the other side of you. Because a boat tipped over. And splash, Alexander goes, like a dead weight into the water. And Scott, you've fallen as well. However, you did manage to keep the dry bag of gear in your backpack in the boat.
Okay.
So the boat, it's one of those things that wobbles around a lot if you start moving. So it wobbled. You guys fell out, and then it righted itself. Then it just kind of, and so now it's just sort of floating slowly away from you. So what do you guys do? Well, actually, you're gonna have to try to swim. So there is a swim skill.
Yes, there is. Third from the bottom.
Oh no!
What do you got there, buddy?
Use that.
Oh, Alexander,
Use that.
I can only go up from here.
Use that BSC, Scott. Big Scott energy. Come on.
Ooh, there you're right.
Wow.
Scott, how do you do?
It looks like he's gonna live another day.
I got a fair.
You got a fair?
I got a fair. I started terrible, so that was pretty good.
Okay.
I yell, "A boa constrictor's got me!" And I just slap the water.
And Scott Benson, how did you do?
I got a mediocre.
A mediocre. So somehow the professor who doesn't know how to swim at all is managing to stay afloat better than Scott. I don't think anyone needs to roll to see if you notice what's going on because of the noise they're making. So yeah, you see the boat going farther from them.
Jack, your brother looks like he might be in distress.
Did we make sure, or are we still in the water? Carla and I.
You made it to shore, but I would say you have not gotten out of the boat yet.
Okay. I'm going to grab the gear that's in front of me, huck it onto the shore, yell, "Carla, get out, quick."
Oh, I'm already out.
And I am going to backpedal and beeline back for them.
Okay.
Bye.
I'm swimming, in air quotes, towards Scott. I'm yelling, "I'm coming to save you!" In between retching because I swallowed like swamp water. Ooh!
He's gonna get parasites.
And Jeff, what do you plan to do?
We need to save 2 people. We have 2 boats. We're gonna need them both out there. Part of me just wants to take my flashlight and just like do Morse code for here. So like give them a place to go.
It is light outside.
Helping. No, I should get. Let's get Kris off the boat. I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'll go help out. So that way we've got.
So Kris splashes to the shore as you change route and head out after them. Okay.
Help!
Jack, who are you trying to maneuver to?
My brother.
Okay. So you can see Jack is already like halfway there. Jeff, you can see he's heading straight to Scott. So, if you want, you can turn to Alexander, who is flailing his arms madly in an attempt to swim to Scott.
And fend off the boa constrictors.
And fend off boa constrictors and spit swamp water out of his mouth and nose.
I'd like to go just behind Alexander and like hang out and watch him kind of struggle a little bit because he's surviving. He's fine. But like, you know, you gotta
learn from your mistakes.
throw a kid in the water to let him teach him to swim. That's what I'm doing. I'm like being a good parent right now.
Kick your feet. Kick your feet.
But I'll have the oar out just in case he needs to grab it.
Well, my stamina is fair.
Yeah.
Once your head goes under the first time, I'll grab you.
Yeah. Okay. So that does bring up something. I'm gonna have both Alexander and Scott make a stamina test to see how long you can keep up your attempts at swimming before the water starts to win.
Before your stomach is 3/4 filled with swamp water.
Exactly.
Yeah, the swamp is winning.
Oh no!
Oh,
I got a mediocre.
Yay!
a mediocre. Okay.
I got a great.
And you got a great. Okay.
Farewell, my friend.
That doesn't mean you figured out how to swim. It does mean that
You're managing to stay alive.
Yeah, you are keeping your head miraculously above the water. However, Alexander has stopped moving towards you and is now at risk of going under. He's
Self-preservation mode.
My hat's floating.
He just sucked in some more water, Jeff. Yeah, he's not.
Okay, it's time. Let's pull him in.
Okay. So, all right. So you grab him and you go to pull him in. Alexander, why don't you make a will to see if you can resist panicking? Because you do have a phobia of water.
BSE, Big Scott energy.
I got a great.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
So you're able to muster yourself because help has arrived.
One bony hand reaches out towards Jeff.
Covered in green moss.
And between Jeff pulling on one arm and you grabbing onto the boat with the other, you're able to kind of flop yourself in and just kind of lay there like a slug spitting water out of your mouth. And so you're in the boat. Jack, you show up at your brother. Your brother is above water, but he's not making any progress at swimming.
That's fine. I'm going to pull up alongside of him. I'm going to grab him by the scruff of his neck and go, hold your breath. And I'm going to push him under the water, then yank him as hard as I can up and just flap him up onto the boat. I'll use brawn if I have to.
And that's
You
exactly
will
what I
use
do.
brawn. Yeah, use your brawn. Make a brawn roll because that's all strength based.
That is going to be a superb.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you do it pretty much as you said, and you just kind of haul him right up onto the boat.
Grab his feet, swing him around
Yep.
so he's not dangling, and then I'm going to paddle to get the other boat.
And I'm going to say, you
Get
had
the
to
other
put me
one.
with Alexander, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
All right. So you managed to get the other boat. Jeff, you managed to steer yours back to shore, to the far shore, and you get the other boat. You know, this takes some time, but you manage to all end up on shore. Some of you more wet than others.
I would strongly suggest you strip down to your BBDs and check your body for leeches.
For what?
Blood-sucking leeches.
Oh my.
It looks like
Jeff takes off all
a
his clothes.
giant, firm snot. They can get up to about 6 inches long.
I can only imagine the parasites and tapeworms that are moving their way through your intestines right now.
Yeah, you're going to want to find those
You
leeches.
drink that
first.
water
There's-
without a Sawyer straw.
There's actually one kind of leech that the only way it can reproduce is by crawling into the anus of the rhinoceros. It's fascinating. And Dick crashed almost a foot long. I mean, but thank goodness there's nothing like that here. But you're going to want to check your body for leeches.
And I'll pass out.
Yes! Yes!
Stay tuned for next week's episode of The Unexplained. The Hock.